Hi, my name is Tony, and welcome back to Sermons in Small Bites. This week we're talking about transformation. All of us know that there is a gap between who we want to be and who we are. And our whole lives are really made to strive to be who we want to be, or who we believe that God made us to be. Transformation is so much a part of the biblical story that you see the writers of the Bible encourage us and ask us to strive towards changing, especially to changing into the image of Christ. But the question is, how do we change? Now, there's two really different paradigms in transformation. One is unintentional transformation. All of us are changed or transformed by the voices that we believe, the things that we consume, the media outlets we listen to, the things we watch on YouTube, or the media that we consume on Instagram or on Facebook or on TikTok. We are formed by our habits, the daily rituals of our lives. We're also formed by the relationships that we have been given. That is the unintentional formation that happens. Those three things work out to form us into the people we are. However, the Bible asks us to have a counter formation, or, as we mentioned before, a transformation. That counterformation, we take the lies that we believe, or the stories that we believe, or the voices that we believe, and we counter them with the biblical teaching. We counter the habits that we have with practices of Jesus, and we counter the relationships that we've been given with biblical community. Last week we talked a little bit about biblical community, so if you want to grab that, you can go ahead and check that video out from last week. This week we began a little bit of an introduction about teaching and about practice, and I want to present to you a little bit about what we talked about. Teaching is the counter for the voices that we believe. There are deeply embedded things in all of us that we believe. We know so much, and it's been hammered in our lives for years and years and years and years and years. These thought patterns, these ways of thinking, that we are inadequate or that we are the greatest thing that ever lived. All those thought patterns come in because of the voices that we believe. And so to counteract those voices, the Bible gives us teaching. Beautiful text that should reframe the way we think about everything. God, first and foremost, is after your thought life. This is why the Apostle Paul asks us to have the mind of Christ before we ever become the people of Christ. To have the mind of Christ, we should be thinking the way that God thinks. And the way we talk about doing that is simply this. I'm going to give you 5 quick things. 1, read the Bible. If you want to change your thought life and get away from the lies of the world, read your script, read the Bible. Second thing is listen to great sermons. Listen to people teach the Bible. There are great teachers on YouTube. Grab some, listen to them, and consume them. Third thing is read really good books that can speak truth over your life. The fourth thing, you can listen to some really great podcasts. Podcasts are a great way to consume teachers from all over the world. And the last thing is to get a mentor. There's nothing as refreshing as having someone speak truth over your life, to remind you that what you were thinking about was true, or to tell you and to warn you that what you're thinking about was a lie. It's so good to have someone in your life. It's like a cool drink of water to have someone speak truth over your life. That's a little bit about teaching. We're actually going to talk about that a little bit more in a couple of weeks. But also, we did a little bit of an introduction about practice. If teaching is aimed at your mind, then practice is certainly aimed at your heart. Because the things you do, you want to do more of. The best example of that is shopping. If you shop a little bit, you want to shop more. Once you buy a pair of shoes, you realize you want to buy a shirt and a pair of jeans and a hat and all that other stuff. And then at the end of the whole thing, you realize you need another pair of shoes. And the cycle goes on and on and on. Because what you do, you want to do more of. The Apostle James talks about this. He says, resist the devil and he will flee from you. And this is this idea that if you practice resisting, or if you practice consuming, eventually that resisting will cause the devil to flee, or that consuming will cause the devil to stay. And it's a beautiful illustration of just the way life works. The more you watch pornography, the more you'll want to watch pornography. The more you watch Netflix, the more you'll want to watch Netflix. The more that you consume media without really giving strength to your heart or to your mind or to your soul, or kind of pouring in good things in your life, the more that you'll want to do that things. This is just the way that life works. And the beauty is that there is a connection between your practices or your daily life and your heart. And Jesus knew this. At the end of Matthew chapter 7, he warns us, Anybody who puts these words into practice of mine is like a man who built his house on the rock. When the storm comes and it beats against the house, it will not fall because its house is on the rock. The point is that practice keeps you grounded in Christ because it keeps your heart grounded in Christ. So today I want to encourage you, at the end of your day, go through everything you did. We call it a liturgical audit. Go through every single thing you did, all the rhythms, all of your actions of the day, write them all out and decide, was this action good for my heart, bad for my heart, or just neutral for my heart? If it was neutral for your heart, leave it alone. If it was good for your heart, do a little bit more of that. And if it was bad for your heart, then remove it and try to replace it with one of the practices of Jesus. We'll see you next week.